Well, here on Share Life today, we love to share creative witnessing tips with you that are already field tested. And today, you're going to learn more about a prayer booth ministry that's an outreach of People's Church in Fresno, California. To tell us more is Dr. John Erickson. John is a medical doctor. I know that you're used to taking care of people's physical needs, but how did you become involved in taking care of people's spiritual needs?
Well, I joined People's Church, where I now attend, in 1996. And one of the main reasons I joined People's Church was to become a part of the EE ministry, which they had. And that's how I entered into the spiritual care of patients as well as people that weren't patients.
Tell us about this prayer booth ministry that you've had a chance to be part of and are, I guess, making happen there at People's Church at this point, right? You've kind of taken over the leadership of that. Well, tell us how it works.
Okay. We started the prayer booth ministry a year ago. At River Park in Fresno, California, there is a large theater complex with a lot of restaurants and shops around that theater complex. Lots of people from Fresno are always there. And they have a farmer's market from April to the end of October. Every Tuesday night, and from 4:30 to 9. It's been remarkable. When we first started a year ago, we would sit behind the table. We have a table with about 4 chairs, and there would be 2 to 3 of us, usually at a time, and we would wait for people to come up to the tent. We have a banner behind our booth. It's a 10 by 10 pop-up, and we have a banner strung on the back of the booth that says "Need Prayer" with a big question mark. So that's our calling card, so to speak. And people would come up, but initially it was very few people. Maybe for the whole 4-hour time that we were there, maybe only 6 or 10 people would come up. After about a month or two, we began going in front of the table and asking people as they walked by, would you like some prayer? So we were a little bit more aggressive, because a lot of the vendors around us would be offering samples of their fruits and products, and so we decided to do the same thing. And we got a much greater response. One week last year, our peak time, we had 51 groups of people that we prayed for. Some of these groups are whole families, so several hundred people in one night. So it has gotten quite busy.
Wow, that is fantastic. Is there a particular story that stands out in your mind as somebody who was really impacted by being asked if they needed prayer?
Yes. I'm just going to go with a few examples from this year. We started April 7th this year. There was one man, this was April 28th, by the name of Muhammad, obviously a Muslim, and he came up and he said, he saw our sign, and one of our workers by the name of Ephraim asked him what he wanted for prayer, and he says, I want peace. And so, and prosperity for my business and my health and my family, the typical requests that we get. And so Ephraim prayed with him about that. And then Ephraim had a follow-up question, which we frequently have, and he said, where are you going to spend eternity? And the man said, funny you should ask that. Just last night I had a dream, a very vivid dream, that I had died and I went to hell. So I don't want to go there, so how do I avoid that place? And Ephraim led him to the Lord after about a half an hour of conversation. It was a very ripe moment. And so we see that happening a lot.
Wow, that is really fantastic. Now, what would you say to someone, we're assuming that there are folks across the United States that are watching this video, and maybe they're asking the question right now, maybe I should do this in my own church. What would you say to someone who's wondering if they should try this out with their church or with their Sunday school class or with a small group outreach? What advice would you give them?
I think it's very important to have a group of people that are trained in sharing the gospel. So it would be most of the workers that we have about 12 to 14 workers that I draw from for the evening. And there's usually 2 from 5 to 7 and 2 to 4 from 7 to 9. So it's a group of people. It's a commitment of 2 hours usually. But you want people that are trained to share the gospel. Usually EE trained people are our main workers. We also recommend training in prayer ministry, like altar ministry. And so most of the people that work in our booth likewise have the same training for altar and prayer ministry. to know how to pray for people. Sometimes when people have a request, the real need is something else, and so we gently kind of move it around sometimes as we're praying for people. So I think that's critical. You need to have a group, maybe 10 to 12 people that are committed to sharing the gospel and know how to share the gospel, and committed to praying for people and know how to do that as well. So I think the training of the volunteer group base is very important. So that would be one definite recommendation. The other is to have a leader. I'm leading myself, and it's a lot of work. You have to coordinate with the management of the farmers market. After we're done, we write down on a clipboard all the people that we interact with. We just write a first name, and then I will spend a couple of hours writing it all down, and then we send it out by email to all the workers so they can continue to pray for the needs through the week.
You mentioned a particular training beyond EE, and that is altar call ministry. Is there any particular a tool that you use in that equipping training? I mean, I remember for a while, like Billy Graham had a spiritual counselor worker book. I'm not sure exactly the name, but do you have anything in particular that you use?
Yes, we're using a Kingdom Ministries, it's called, in Fresno. It's a ministry established in Fresno by a professor out of Fresno Pacific. And it just teaches how to pray for people. It teaches how to pray for the event before it happens, how to pray after it's done, asking for God's protection. Well, it is fun too to get follow-up. I mean, we try to make it a discipleship ministry, not just praying for people, not just a brief prayer when they come and want prayer. We've had people come back and give us answers to the prayers that we've done. We had two groups of people last week. One came up. She came to us the very first week we set up in early April. Her name was Susan, and she was going to have a third eye surgery. The first two had failed. The doctors and her were not hopeful for the third surgery working for her eye. So we prayed for her, and her surgery was May 5th, and she came to us. We happened to be there May 5th that evening. And she came back, she was jumping up and down with joy. She said it was incredibly successful, and she was just crying. She thanked us so much for the prayers. And just a few minutes later, another couple came up, and they thanked us for praying for them the same exact day, the 14th of April. This was May 5th, and they came up, Joshua and Jacqueline, and they were very thankful that we had prayed for their marriage. They hadn't been together. And after the prayer, they went home and they started talking to each other. They got back together again, and now they're working it out. And so they wanted to let us know that our prayers made a difference for them. So we get feedback like that. And that's really encouraging.
Yeah, it would have to be super encouraging. Well, John, God bless you. This sounds like such a great idea. And it's encouraging to hear the great response that you're getting. And it goes to show that people are still open to spiritual things today, and they're open to hearing the gospel today. So God bless you and the rest of your prayer booth gang. And I just thank you for taking the time today out of your busy schedule to share this creative witnessing outreach with us at Share Life Today. Thank you, John.